never thought a street corner could feel like the epicenter of heartbreak. But there I was, drenched in rain, staring at Himmy first love, my everything leaning into someone else's arms like I was invisible. The neon lights flickered off puddles at our feet, mocking me with every reflection. I wanted to laugh, cry, scream all at once, but only a bitter chuckle escaped. Perfect? I muttered, shaking my head, more at the universe than him. He turned slightly, catching my eye, and I saw a flicker recognition, guilt, maybe even regret, but it was gone in a heartbeat. We had met in high school, two awkward souls who somehow fit together like puzzle pieces. He had that effortless charisma, even then always making everyone around him feel alive. I, on the other hand, was quieter, more hesitant, watching him from the sidelines as he conquered everything with a smile. And I loved him. Madly, hopelessly. The kiss I saw tonight wasn't just a kiss. It was a betrayal carved in slow motion, a confirmation of every fear I'd tried to bury. And yet, beneath the ache, there was a spark of the old magic, the pull that had made me follow him through every stage of life, every ridiculous, beautiful misadventure. I turned and started walking, my hoodie soaked through, my chest tight. The rain seemed to chase me down the empty streets, dripping from the awnings, seeping into my shoes, refusing to let me escape. And then I heard his voice. "Wait, Jamie." I froze. My name on his lips sounded like both a plea and an accusation. I didn't turn. Not yet. Part of me wanted to run straight into his arms, while another part knew that doing so would destroy what little dignity I had left. "Why?" My voice was rough, half yell, half whisper, carried by the storm around us. "Why did you?" I stopped. The words choked in my throat. "Kiss him." He stepped closer, water dripping from his tousled hair, eyes dark and earnest. "Two didn't mean to hurt you," he said, voice trembling. "It just happened. I didn't think." "You didn't think?" I laughed, a humorless sound that bounced off the walls of the alley. "You kissed him in front of me. Didn't you think at all?" He flinched, and I saw the vulnerability I'd fallen for all those years ago. The same vulnerability that had made me promise myself I'd protect him, even when protecting him meant losing him. "I was scared," he admitted finally. "Scared of everything. Scared of what I feel, and what I might lose if I say it out loud." I stopped walking. The rain blurred the world around us, turning city lights into streaks of color, mirroring the chaos inside me. "Say what?" My voice was softer now, almost breaking. "That I love you," he whispered. "I've always loved you." I wanted to believe him. I wanted to collapse into his arms and erase the hours, the days, the months of hurt. But the image of him, lips pressed against someone else's, burned like acid in my mind. "You don't get to say that after." My voice trailed off, jagged with pain. He stepped closer, so close that I could feel the heat radiating from his body despite the rain. "Jamie," he said, reaching out. His hand trembled as it hovered near mine, fingers itching to bridge the space between us. "I screwed up. I know that. But every time I see you, I realize I'm nothing without you." I wanted to hate him. I tried. I forced my body to move, to keep the distance between us, but my feet betrayed me, dragging me closer. Just a little, a fraction. Enough to feel his warmth, enough to almost touch his hand. "I don't know if I can forgive you," I admitted, voice breaking under the weight of longing and hurt. "Then don't," he said, almost desperate now. "Just don't walk away this time. Let me try. Please." The wind carried our words into the night, into the city that had always been ours in some unspoken way. The neon glow reflected in his eyes, and I saw something familiar: hope, yes, but also fear. He was scared, just like me. I swallowed hard, remembering the nights we'd stayed up talking about nothing and everything, his head resting on my shoulder, my hand in his hair. The nights he sang softly just for me. The streets we'd wandered holding hands like the world didn't exist. Those memories felt like a lifeline, pulling me back from the edge of bitterness. "Fine," I said finally, barely above a whisper. "But you're going to have to earn me back. Every single day." A small, almost shy smile broke across his face, and I realized how much I'd missed it. "I will," he promised, voice steady despite the rain. "Every single day, Jamie. I swear." I let him close the gap, our fingers brushing, then entwining. The contact was electric, sending shivers down my spine, a mixture of pain, longing, and hope. For the first time in Horse or maybe years, I felt the old spark reignite, fragile but real. We walked together through the wet streets, silence settling comfortably between us, punctuated by the distant hum of traffic and the occasional splash of puddles under our steps. Felt like a truce, like a fragile beginning. I didn't know if it would last, but I knew one thing. I couldn't let him go again. Not now. Not ever. The rain eased, leaving only a light drizzle, and the city lights shimmered on the asphalt like a promise. Maybe we weren't perfect. Maybe the world had tested us, tried to tear us apart. But for now, as his hand held mine, close and warm, I felt like we could survive anything. The next few days were awkward in the way that only first loves can be. Every glance, every accidental brush of fingers, carried the weight of unspoken apologies and tentative hope. We hadn't kissed again, not yet, but the small, intimate gestures spoke volumes. Sharing an umbrella, leaning close in a crowded cafe, laughing over inside jokes only we remembered. He didn't try to rush me. He let me set the pace, and somehow, that patience made me forgive him more quickly than I expected. It wasn't just the apology or the promise. It was the way he tried every single day to show me I mattered more than anything else in the world. I found myself watching him in the studio as he worked on new songs. Music had always been his escape, and watching him pour his soul into melodies reminded me why I'd loved him in the first place. I saw glimpses of the boy I knew, the one who used to hum to himself on long walks, the one who laughed too loudly, the one who made me feel like I was home. One evening, after a long day of rain and recording sessions, he found me sitting alone on the rooftop of our apartment building. The city sprawled beneath us, lights twinkling like scattered stars. He didn't speak at first. He just sat down next to me, and we shared the silence like a fragile bridge reconnecting two islands. Finally, he spoke, voice soft and almost vulnerable. "I've been thinking," he said, "about that night, and everything after. I can't change what I did, Jamie, but I can promise you this. I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you." I looked at him, really looked, and saw sincerity in every line of his face. I saw the boy I had loved, the man I had been foolish enough to let go, and the person I was still falling for. My chest tightened, not with pain, but with something warmer, hope, and maybe even love reborn. "You already are," I said, almost surprised by my own words. "Every day you've been proving it. And I want to try too. I want to trust again." He smiled, a small, genuine smile that made the city lights seem dimmer by comparison. Slowly, almost hesitantly, he leaned closer, giving me time to pull away if I wanted. But I didn't. I tilted my head, letting him close the last distance between us, and finally, we kissed. It wasn't the fiery, desperate kiss of first passion. It was tender, careful, as if we were testing the waters of a new beginning. But beneath that gentleness was a fire that neither of us could ignore, the spark that had never really gone out. My hands found their way to his hair, and his arms wrapped around me as if he'd been holding on all along. The kiss broke only when the wind carried laughter from the streets below, and we pulled back, foreheads touching, breaths mingling. "I missed this," I whispered. "I missed you," he admitted, voice low, almost trembling. Every second. From that night on, things slowly returned to a new normal. There were still moments of doubt, moments when the past threatened to overshadow the present. But each time, we faced them together, with honesty, patience, and an almost stubborn devotion to each other. He began inviting me to his concerts, letting me sit in the front row, where I could see the passion and talent that made him famous. I cheered for him, proud in a way I hadn't expected, and he never failed to notice me in the crowd, sending smiles that made my heart leap. One night, after a particularly exhausting performance, he dragged me backstage, grinning mischievously despite his exhaustion. You have no idea how much I wanted to see you right now, he said, tugging me into a private corner away from fans and cameras. You're my luck, Jamie. My everything. I laughed, a sound full of relief and warmth. You're ridiculous, I said, but my hand found his, fingers intertwining naturally, perfectly. And you always have been. We sat there, hands entwined, listening to the hum of the city and the distant echo of cheering fans. Felt surreal, almost too perfect to be true, but it was real. And for the first time in a long while, I believed that love could be messy, painful, and yet endlessly beautiful. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and our bond only grew stronger. We fought sometimes, of course, clashing in ways only people who care deeply can. But we always came back, drawn by a gravity neither of us could resist. Every argument ended with laughter, or a quiet moment under the stars, where we reminded each other that we were, in fact, meant to be. One quiet Sunday morning, we found ourselves in our favorite cafe, the one where we had spent countless afternoons lost in conversation. The barista, recognizing us, gave a knowing smile as we slid into our usual booth. He reached across the table, fingers brushing mine, and I felt a jolt of warmth that never faded. Jamie, he said, voice soft, almost shy for a moment, I know we've been through a lot, and I know I don't always say what I mean perfectly, but I want you to know something. I leaned closer, heart pounding. What is it? I love you. Fully. Completely. And I don't care about anything else. Not the fame, not the noise, not the mistakes. I just want you. I felt tears prick my eyes, but they were tears of joy this time. I love you too, I whispered, fingers tightening around his. I've always loved you, even when I didn't think I could. He grinned, the kind of smile that made the world feel lighter, brighter. Then we're perfect, he said, half joking, but I saw the truth in his eyes. Perfect in our own imperfect way, forged through trials and distance, heartbreak and hope. We walked out of the cafe hand in hand, the sunlight warming our faces. The city stretched around us, alive and buzzing, but in that moment, it felt like it existed just for us. We laughed, whispered, and shared little touches, reconnecting in ways that were both familiar and new. As evening fell, we found ourselves on the rooftop again, watching the city lights blink on one by one. He wrapped his arm around my shoulder, pulling me close, and I leaned into him, feeling the steady beat of his heart. We made it, he said, voice almost a murmur. After everything, we made it. I smiled, resting my head against his chest. Yeah, I said softly. We did, and I think we're going to be okay. More than okay. He kissed the top of my head, and I felt a peace I hadn't known in years. The past had hurt us, yes, but it had also brought us here to this fragile, beautiful now. And I knew, without a shadow of doubt, that as long as we had each other, we could survive anything. We stayed there for hours, wrapped in each other's warmth, watching the city breathe. Every now and then, he would whisper my name, and I would reply with a laugh or a soft promise. We didn't need to speak much. The connection, the love, and the understanding between us said everything. And in that quiet, golden moment, with the world stretching endlessly beneath us, I realized something profound. Love isn't perfect, and it isn't easy. But when it's real, when it's true, it's the most extraordinary thing you'll ever experience. We were scarred, we were bruised, but we were together. And for now, that was enough. Hand in hand, heart to heart, we faced the world, ready for whatever came next. And somehow, I knew we would be all right. Always. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.